welcome back. Following a fiery debate in the State of the Nation address, our guest this morning is the Chief Whip of the official opposition, Mr. Armiston Watson. Mr. Watson joins us this morning to talk about his party's agenda for the 2013 parliamentary session. Mr. Watson, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
The 2013 session has just begun. What is your party set out as its top priorities for the session?
Well, this year is going to be a very, very busy year for Parliament, of course, with next year being an election year. So I expect it to be not quite such a long year. So we'll have a lot of work to do, and we've got our job lined out for us. For us, the first priority is to get the rules of Parliament right, which Parliament is working on at the moment. And in particular, we're very keen to see the rules in terms of a debate on the motion of no confidence being formulated in such a way that it allows every member of Parliament the right to raise a motion of and table a motion of no confidence and to have that debated. Of course, we're waiting the outcome of the Constitutional Court on the 28th of March or days after that, but that's one of our main objections, and of course we fully intend to re-table our motion of no confidence in the President. As you've just heard in the debates yesterday so far, there's very little confidence in our President at the moment. We are looking at a number of other matters as well, and one of the things that I personally would like to try and establish is to, in terms of our rules, establish some sort of a body of Parliament that can do an in-depth study and investigation into rape in South Africa, to go right around the country to do investigation and to report back to Parliament, because Parliament is where it all starts and ends. And I think Parliament has a definite duty to now forcefully look at the problem of rape in our country. We have a number of other things that I can allude you to. Nkandla, of course, is high on our priority, and also the question of the non-functioning, and I say non-functioning, of our committees in Parliament in terms of our rules and the Constitution, and particularly in the way they handle their reports. Reporting is not up to standard, and I'm going to make it my duty to monitor reports from committees and also to put pressure on the presiding officers to, in their turn, put pressure on the committees to do their job. We've still not had a report on the 2011 People's Assembly in Bloemfontein. Parliament has not seen a report yet. It's not been tabled. We have not seen reports on last year's so-called youth parliament, which turned out into a fiasco here in Parliament. We have not seen a report on the women's parliament. We've not even seen a report on the chief whip of the ANC's own so-called interfaith meeting that they had. We spent over 2 million rand without consulting Parliament properly. Those reports are outstanding. The Constitution and the rules of Parliament determine that those reports must be in. The Committee on Intelligence, which is governed by its own act, which required it to report to Parliament, has reported erratically or not at all since 2004. And we have engaged the presiding officers, particularly the Speaker, on this, and we think something should be done about that.
Mr. Watson, earlier you touched on the vote of no confidence. Now, in an interview on this program yesterday, the chief whip of the ANC condemned the idea of a united front of the opposition parties with a motive to challenge this ruling. He actually said it will harm multi-party democracy, and he said that the DA is using opposition parties, which he said were politically bankrupt.
Oh, well, you know, I think if anybody is bankrupt or politically bankrupt, then it is the chief whip of the ANC. He's grappling to save his own life, and in the process, he's trying to condemn everything and everybody. The actions by the opposition is something that happens spontaneously. It's not driven by any party in particular. And if you listen to the debates yesterday, without comparing a single note, I can assure the listeners and the viewers out there, the major party leaders' speeches were all in the same vein in terms of what they think of the President's State of the Nation address. So no, there's nothing about bankruptcy. It's a concerted effort to fix South Africa, and that is why opposition parties are now working together. I think it's a wonderful thing. I think there should have been coalition government in this country from '94, and we would have been far better off. So there's nothing wrong with it. And yes, we are pursuing the motion of no confidence. All the parties, all 8 parties involved, are at idem that we should do that.
Final question as we wrap up. Any specific piece of legislation that you are concerned about?
Well, we are obviously still very concerned, and on your behalf, if I may say so, about the secrecy bill, the State Information Bill, that is now back at the National Assembly with some proposed amendments from the National Council of Provinces, which they don't have to accept, but which we hope they will accept, and maybe take the plunge and do some further changes. But we sit ready and wait for that, and if necessary, we will take it to the Constitutional Court. There is, of course, the Traditional Courts Bill, which is also very, very important, which has to be finalised, and a large number of legislation pieces from judiciary and from other departments in government.
Mr. Watson, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, the Minister of National Planning, Trevor Manuel, says civil servants should not do business with government. That's our story after the break. Stay with us.